How's it going, everyone? And it wouldn't be a complete week for me if I don't make another video crapping on Concord, and now we have more information about the game. We know that this game is an absolute utter failure. Anybody that's been following my channel for the last year, 14 months or so, going back to that burger trailer, I've already been at a negative outlook on Concord. I've already been questioning Sony's thought process on greenlighting this game, but the burger trailer really didn't give me a lot to work with. It was really after the official gameplay reveal of that game, the cinematic trailer, that I was like, this game is going to be an absolute travesty. And you know what? If this game came out in a vacuum, if this game was done by some other studio, it was published by whoever, I wouldn't care that much. It would have been 1 in a million live service games that come out and it would have flopped. However, you have to look at context when it comes to Concord and why this game's release upsets me so much, and this game failing is almost something I don't want to say I take joy in, because there are lives, workers that are working on this game, but it is what it is. The game isn't being received well. I don't even care if you personally think the game is good. Let's talk about a lot of things. Alright, so IGN has noted that Concord has sold only 25,000 units. We already knew, based on the Steam concurrent player numbers, that the player base for this game, based on the fact that it is absolutely in the toilet, peaking at like 690 concurrent players, you know, regularly having player counts in the hundreds, that is a disaster situation for a game that is being published by PlayStation, an absolute juggernaut that should have a good promotional push, and inherently any game that PlayStation publishes should have a modicum level of interest. But let's be real, with Concord, the interest in the game has been more of it from a morbid curiosity standpoint. People want to see how big of a failure this game really is, and you can make the argument, oh my god, you guys just want this game to fail. Well, guess what? If a game is presented well, if it's promoted well, if it's a quality game, it can ultimately fail. It's not going to fail this hard, this much of a travesty, especially when you have somebody like PlayStation backing it. Look, a PlayStation console exclusive is always, at least it always should, have an inherent level of interest because it's PlayStation. They have brand awareness. They should have that level of consumer trust. That is the word I am looking for. Consumer trust built by now, where if they are dropping something, at the very least, people should be interested in it, and then it is on Sony, it is on the game to damage that interest so much where people are at this point where they are at with Concord, where they are laughing at the game, where they think it's pathetic, where you can assess it from a variety of different angles. And I know I don't talk about it ad nauseum, but let's just point it out there. Okay, the characters are hideous. Yes, they are disgusting looking. I don't know what they were thinking about when they greenlit this. I know that they couldn't have predicted that Marvel was about to come out around the same time, but just looking at it from the context we have now, guys, we have a $40 hero shooter with the most repulsive looking character designs I have seen in a video game in quite a while, especially in a hero shooter. And what's the idea of a game that's based around a bunch of heroes and selling you on the idea of these characters? You want these characters to be compelling. Oh, are you gonna play Concord with its repulsive character design, or are you gonna go play the free hero shooter that's coming out in December with Venom and Captain America? Oh, I don't know. What kind of decision is that? It's free as well. I get it. Firewalk had no idea, at least I would imagine they had no idea in a large portion of the development of the game, that they were going to come out right around the time of Marvel's Rivals. But at the same time, the idea of a game like this is to get people engaged into the characters, is to get people engaged into the game itself in the first place. You want to do everything in your power to not divide your user base, and choosing character designs like this right off the top gives you a ceiling. It is already, no matter how good the game is mechanically, people are going to be pushed away. There is going to be a significant number of people, whether people want to admit it or not, just based on the character designs. When you have character designs like that, I'm sorry, it is over. But that is the element of the game people want to focus on. Obviously, there's a lot of other layers to this. The live service space is a space where so many games go in to get absolutely slaughtered. This is a space where so many publishers have the same game plan. Let us greenlight 20 different projects here, chuck as much garbage as we can to the wall, and something's gonna stick. We're gonna have a couple of hits, and as long as we get a couple of hits, we'll ride that gravy train out all day long, all year long, for years and years, to be perfectly honest, because that is ultimately their goal. Gone are the days of Sony wanting to craft a multiplayer shooter like a Killzone 2. Sell it to you for $60 and you'll have a great experience with it for, 3 to 6 months, and then you'll move on to the next game. Those days are dead and buried, at least for the moment being. They can be revived at some point, but guess what? I am losing out hope. The days of the Killzone 2s, the days of the SOCOM 4s, the days of the Warhawks seem to be long behind us. The days of the Resistances. It doesn't seem like those types of games that can be enjoyed in a vacuum can exist anymore. Rather, what do the suits want? They want a multiplayer live service experience that they can sell you for $40. In a lot of instances are gonna make it free, but then they can monetize it for years and years. They can sell you skins, they can sell you in-game currency, so on and so forth. Back in the day, it used to be, okay, Killzone 2 comes out, maybe we'll get a $10 map pack. Alright, Killzone 3 in 2 years, catch you guys then. They don't want that anymore. They want to drop a Concord. I do argue this game should have been free, although it's gonna be free by the end of the year in PlayStation Plus, and they'll pretend they're offering you a lot of value in PlayStation Plus Essential or Extra, wherever they decide to add it. The reality is they would be trying to extract any last value that they could get out of an absolute dying and pitiful experience like Concord has been for them, and that's what it would be. But it'll ultimately go free by the end of the year. But the fact that this game came out at $40 is already insane. Now, to be fair, Helldivers 2, another PlayStation published live service game, did come out earlier this year for $40, but Helldivers 2 isn't a hero shooter. The hero shooter market is a market that is well served. Helldivers 2, on the other hand, is this co-op action-heavy title that there's really not that many games on the market like it. Yes, there are extraction shooters out there, but Helldivers 2 offers something that a lot of games don't have, that level of chaos, that level of mayhem, and Helldivers 2 knows what it is. I don't think Concord knows what it is, or if it does know what it is just accepting that it's a game that people at a high level are not going to be into. And I don't even think that this is a case of Sony failing to build momentum, as this article is saying. According to Piscatella, Sony dropped the ball on this front, badly damaging its ability to build momentum ahead of its release. He said it suffered from low awareness and purchase intent among video game players. It doesn't matter how much awareness a garbage product nobody wants has. People can be aware of the game as much as you want, and I would argue that there's a lot of people that are aware of Concord, and there are so many live service games that aren't gonna have that PlayStation label attached to them. Concord was already gifted the fact that it was a PlayStation console exclusive, and that does mean something in today's gaming climate. I'm not saying it's enough to sell you on a game, but it's already piggybacking off of being a PlayStation game. It had that going for it. No level of marketing is all of a sudden going to make this game be like, oh, you know what, this Concord game, it just is lacking brand awareness. No, you can't market garbage. What is marketing garbage gonna do? It's not gonna do anything, and I'm talking about garbage from how it's presented, from the perception of the game. You promote this game even more, the perception is the perception. There's no way you can promote Concord at a high level where people are aware of it. That's going to spin the perception. It is literally impossible to promote this game as a $40 hero shooter and expect anything but the perception to be, what is this trash? Why is it coming out? Nobody's gonna be excited for it. Yeah, maybe if you put the marketing budget completely behind it, that 697 peak concurrent player count would have went up to 732. All right, brother, you got me there. But there was no universe where this game was going to be successful in today's climate. Even take Marvel's Rivals out of it for a second, because that isn't something that they were going to be able to entirely predict. I'm just offering you guys that that game is coming out, which just humiliates Concord even more. But let me add to the fact why I personally am so upset about it. Like I said, if this game just existed in the corner of the video game space and it came out and it was a fail, whatever, 8 million live service games come out a year and they fail. That is not the case. That is because I have a certain level of expectation out of Sony every year, that they actually put out high-quality games, because that has been the standard for them. That has been the expectation from the PlayStation brand. And this year, from a first-party standpoint, we are getting Astrobot, which does in fact look great, and we're getting this pile of steaming trash in Concord. They are legitimately putting resources that could have been allocated to other compelling projects into games like Concord. And why is the perception that PlayStation's first-party output is a disaster in 2024 and 2023? It's because games like Concord are getting greenlit, and it's just not Concord. Fair Game got greenlit. The Last of Us multiplayer project has been in development, and that got canceled. So you're talking about 3 projects that I personally feel one of them's already canceled. Concord has been a failure. Fair Game, you're next. And then I just wonder, how much longer are we gonna go into this live service game? At some point, we gotta throw in the towel. Yeah, Helldivers 2 was a success, but Helldivers 2 was a game that knew what it was. It was a game that I've been talking up going back to its initial gameplay reveal. Most people in the knew that that game had potential. It was a surprise that it was as successful as it was, but right off the bat, when Concord got its gameplay reveal and we heard about Concord, I'm just like, bro, this game is just being set up for failure. And it's just mind-boggling to me how games like this can even be greenlit by people that I would imagine are far, far more intelligent than me. And I just question how this even gets greenlit. And again, more than anything, what is upsetting to me is that resources that PlayStation could be allocating to other projects. Think about how many incredible IPs they have under their umbrella, and they are greenlighting, spending $100 million, whatever it is. $100 million has to be a baseline amount to put out Concord. Think about all of the franchise that PlayStation has under their umbrella, and we can't get a new game. You're telling me you can't take the resources invested into Concord, facilitate the creation of a new studio, a talented studio, and task them to do something that would get the PlayStation audience excited, create a new first-party studio that's gonna get people excited about new projects that they're putting out, and B, titles that the PlayStation audience has always gravitated towards? I just think absolutely Sony and PlayStation can do that. They just find something like Concord to be potentially more lucrative. Well, it's actually amusing that it's been this big of a disaster. And, you know, I don't wish for jobs to be lost, but Firewalk, I don't know how much longer they're gonna be around for. I don't know how much longer Concord. They talked about their roadmap or whatnot. Like, brothers, this game ain't having no roadmap. Like, this game's gonna be dead by the end of the year. They'll try to revitalize it with PS Plus. They'll make it free to play, but this is one of the biggest flops in PlayStation history. That is not hyperbole. That is factual. That is just, it is what it is. One of the biggest failures in PlayStation history. The fact is, though, they are not going to be punished for it. They're not going to be punished for having a lackluster 2023 or 2024 because they have no competition anymore. It doesn't matter. They could put out 4 Concords and they just won't be punished because they have no competition. And that's why I would argue it is so important for there to be a direct competitor to PlayStation, because they could just do stuff like upping PS Plus's price without increasing value. They could drop trash like Concord and have weak game output years. That's just, it just doesn't matter though, because there isn't a viable alternative that's doing a better job. PC gaming is there, of course, but I'm talking about in the console space. Microsoft just is what it is, and they're stepping away from being a direct console competitor. I mean, they're releasing their games on PlayStation. That tells you enough. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.